Hey everyone, it's Matt Tamas with the MMAwarrior.com. It's not just a sport, it's a lifestyle. We're here with Dave Schmitz, aka the Band Man. He's the creator of ResistanceBandTraining.com. He speaks at numerous conferences and he trains numerous athletes from a variety of different sports. He's well known for bands and band training, and I'd like to thank you for doing this quick little interview today. How you doing?
Oh, no problem, Matt. Appreciate it. Thanks for asking.
I gotta ask you, how did you get into band training?
Oh, I'll try to keep the story pretty short, but it started with I was a physical therapist, and one of the things that I was looking for was a tool that I could use to get people to kind of do what I wanted them to do without telling them. And that sounds silly, but the more instinctive we can make people, obviously, the better they respond. And so I was struggling with it, and long story short, I was at the University of Notre Dame. I went with a coach, and they were talking X's and O's, and I'm not a coach, and so X's and O's bored me. So I walked out of their room and into their facility, and I saw this guy work with these large rubber bands. And switches go on sometimes in life, and that switch went on real strong with me. And what I saw was a tool that could eliminate all the things that functionally we have to deal with, or it could enhance them. Things like momentum, gravity, ground reaction. And so that was where I was at the time. I was training people to become better at handling those three things. And obviously, when we talk about bands, we could get into tons and tons of time on this, but what you're going to see is a band is essentially a muscle without a neurological supply. You supply the neurological system. And so with that said, a band is everything a muscle is. And with that, we could go on, take it from there. But that's kind of how I got started. I started using it in rehab. I was getting great results in rehab. I said, well, if I can get people to do this in rehab coming off injury, why can't I get them better in performance? So then we challenged it because I had an opportunity to work with athletes where I was located. So I started working with athletes in the basement of this physical therapy place. I just threw some stuff together and we started training athletes down there. They'd come in after school. I'd work with them. Got great results there. And then I said, well, wait a minute. I'm an active adult. I like being an athlete. I've always trained people to be athletes. I think everybody has an athlete part in them. And so I started using the same systems that I use for rehab, that I use for performance with my adult fitness group. And all of a sudden, I started getting people that were starting to be sprinters that had never run before. And I had people doing things that they just physically could never do before. And it just took off from there. And now we use it in all three aspects, and long story short, that's how it all got started.
And the bands are basically your primary tool for training athletes, more so than, let's say, like machines or dumbbells or kettlebells or, stability balls. Like, you deal with bands and body weight conditioning, or?
Yeah, from a performance standpoint, my feeling is that athletes have to lift. They have to develop absolute strength. I'm not going to disagree with that. So the athletes I work with, they lift weights, okay? But all their auxiliary lifts, all their speed development, I feel comes from the ability for them to decelerate extremely quick and get back into an accelerated mode as fast as possible. And when you look at resistance bands, they speed up deceleration. They accelerate deceleration, or accelerate eccentrics is what we call it. And so what happens is now I can teach the body how to handle momentums, gravity, ground reaction forces at a faster speed, and then take the band away. And neurologically, now I have athletes responding quicker and faster than they normally would. And so we work a lot of 1, 2, and 3-step work, and that's all we do. And we do the same concept with upper body strengthening and lower body strengthening. Our goal is always to load fast and get out of the load as quick as possible. And that's the whole goal behind what we do with bands.
Can you